Happy Thursday. It is time for live as usual. Today we're going to do a separate live, but we're both going to be on it, and we're going to be talking about updating old blog posts. So this is a question more for seasoned bloggers who have a lot of content that they've created already and kind of need tips on how you can repurpose that content, how you can reuse all of the content that you've worked so hard to create instead of just always cranking out new content. So why you should do it. A lot of you are maybe thinking like, isn't new stuff better? Like, don't my followers want to hear kind of new content all the time? But old content can be one of your biggest traffic drivers, as far as maybe it's from Pinterest, maybe it's just because it's been around a longer time, it has better SEO, which posts that have really good traffic get better SEO because Google basically says like a lot of people are visiting this post, obviously there's something of value here. So those older posts that have been around a long time, that might be where people are first landing on your blog. So maybe they don't even encounter you on social media, maybe they're searching and they find something, and if you just let those old posts stay old and you don't really update them, then that's kind of like the first impression you're leaving with people who land on your blog. So that's a reason why you should think about updating it. Also, it's just way less work than writing a whole new post. So you don't have to like shoot a whole nother thing. You can just go in and update it, keep all of your content feeling fresh so that nothing on your blog feels outdated. So how should you go about doing this? So I would review your old content. Maybe you do this like in a big chunk at the beginning of the year, which would not fit in with the way I do it, but if you're kind of like a project person that you need to sit down and do things in big chunks, that would be good. I kind of work on a few pieces each month. So I kind of go back to the previous year, that same month, and look at content that I've created. And I first start with the posts that have the most traffic, that are doing the best, and I update those first because obviously they're resonating with people and there are updates that can be made to make the content better. And then I look at posts that are evergreen. So like I wouldn't go update like a Christmas outfit post from last year because that's very seasonal, it's very specific. So I look for more evergreen content, stuff that is almost relevant every season, or stuff that is still relevant now even though you wrote it a year ago. So that evergreen content, and then you can update seasonal content. Like I definitely update like gift guides. Instead of making a new gift guide, you can literally just go back to the old gift guide that you made and change it, and using that same URL and updating all your links and stuff, it's gonna have better SEO, so it's gonna rank higher in search than it would if you wrote a whole new post. So some things to keep in mind when you're updating posts are to check for spelling errors, remove old offers if there's like giveaways, if there's expired affiliate links or different kinds of coupon codes. Remove those because if they're not relevant anymore, then they just look spammy. You can also update those links. Update your images or create new graphics. If you have more recent images that you want to use, or say you got better at editing, you can go back and like re-edit the version of the photos and make them look better. Creating new graphics, so maybe that's like pretty headers and like a fun font, or maybe it's like Pinterest graphics. Like at the bottom of our posts, I don't know if you've seen, but we have like actual pins that we make for every post we do so that people can easily pin them when they're done reading it, so that they're not just like a one-time visitor on your blog. They can save things, come back to things. Really good for recipe posts, really good for that evergreen content that's always going to be relevant. You also can reword content that doesn't feel right, and you can add in your new comments or experiences. So if you're anything like me, you do a lot of growing and your opinions and phases change pretty often. So going back to a post I wrote 2 years ago, I certainly am not going to feel the same now. And the audience I have through the content I'm creating today is going to be a little bit different than the audience I was creating the content for then, because I've grown and my audience has grown with me. So going back to those posts and even just like giving updates and rewording things or adding in new commentary or kind of shedding light on new experiences you've had is a really good way to keep your content fresh. And then don't be afraid to delete any post that's not relevant or anything that really doesn't fit where you are today. So like if you stopped doing beauty as much and you've now decided like going forward you're not going to do that, then like don't be afraid to go back and delete things that you've created. So and you don't have to like judge yourself for it. Like that's the place you were 2 years ago. Like that's what you were passionate about. That's what you wanted to write about. That's what was working. But now you've grown, and so being able to like have your content grow with you, I think, is really important. So yeah, I think that's kind of my best tips for updating your content. It's a really good thing to do, and it helps when the new visitors come through old sources. It helps in terms of SEO, because you can have those old posts that have a lot of traffic going to them, and there's really simple ways, just like an extra paragraph here and there, adding new graphics, updating your images, even giving your post a new title that's more relevant. And yeah, we definitely recommend it. It's a lot less work than writing like 4 or 5 new posts. So I personally try to I'm going to be trying to write 3 new posts. So I've been doing like 1 or 2 every week. But I'm kind of ramping up. So I'm going to do 3 new posts, and then I'm going to try to kind of update or promote like an old piece of content that has done really well, one of those evergreen pieces of content each week, so that I'm bringing more eyes to the content that's still relevant and still part of what I want to convey, what I want to share with my audience, and all of that. So I hope these tips were helpful. We will save this one and then go to CJ, and she's going to kind of dive into a little bit more of what that looks like for your blog and some specific tips for how to implement all this advice. So see you next week.
Hi guys, this is CJ. So Kara just gave some really, really good tips. We had talked about it today. I was having even just some issues with traveling all last weekend in Chicago and, not knowing what to be able to post. I've been posting now 3 posts every single day, that would be psycho. 3 posts every single week with like my recipes, then doing a fashion one, then doing a positivity one. And then basically like my travel ones are just going to be kind of scattered in between whenever I get them done, because those take me the longest with having GoPro videos and whatnot. 3 a day would be funny. So basically what I want to tell you is, with traveling last weekend, I went and celebrated my sister's 21st birthday in Chicago, which was great. However, I am 27, going to be 28 in almost a month, and I cannot keep up. So I thought I was going to have all this energy to, wake up early, because I'm not the 21-year-old. I wasn't going to get hammered or anything. However, I'm the 27-year-old. So, staying up until 2 a.m. and being out and, eating crappy food and everything is not what I do on a daily basis. So I was dead in the morning. I was not able to utilize like my time away from family the way I normally like to. And I'm a huge family girl. So I just didn't want to spend time away from them. So I had only planned my recipe and my fashion post, and I hadn't gotten fully done with my positivity post. And so this morning I was kind of stressing out because I didn't have like everything fully done. Kara and I had a podcast. We were running around. We had a scheduling mishap. So it was just a crazy day with lots to get done. It ended up being really positive in the end. We got some really good news on things and for future collaborations. But overall, it was crazy. And so instead of being extremely hard on myself and putting, excuse my language, but like a half-ass thing out there tonight, we talked about reusing content. And that was kind of the idea that came behind this live. And I have written a ton of different positivity posts as far back as, I believe they started early last year. And so a lot of those, like my followers has changed. I've gained probably at least 5,000 to 8,000 followers in that time frame, give or take some. And so reusing it is a huge benefit to me, because a lot of my followers probably didn't even see my posts last summer or see what I was talking about. And if they haven't messed around on my site, if they only go to like the most recent one, they totally miss that. So I started digging into some of my favorite ones and was able to actually look at one of the ones that I wrote about happiness as a mindset and how I got to actually believing that. And so that was one of my favorite ones because it was one of the first ones that I really dug into like my positivity and like who I am as a writer and what, fuels me and keeps me positive and smiling all the time. So I relooked at that and had totally messed with the SEO because, as most of you guys know, if you follow Everyday Chiffon, we completely redid my website in October and November. Thank God to my sweet husband for doing it. However, all of the posts that came over from a different platform to WordPress didn't have the SEO figured out. Didn't have like all of my fun little graphics that I had created. Nothing was really added to it. So I've been in there tonight really updating it. It was geared really towards 2017. So I think Kara's tip on like updating it is definitely something I'm going to go do before I fully update it and post about it, because my life started in 2017 as insanely psycho and ended great. So I want to update people on that. And I think my followers that have been following along will totally appreciate that. So reusing content, I know sounds a little weird because like Kara said, you think the new content is obviously the best, which we're not telling you not to do new content. New content is great and times are ever changing, but in a sense of using the great content you've already created. So a lot of those things, social media is constantly moving. Everything gets lost in the mix within like 30 minutes. I don't even think the time frame is that long. Like Instagram is like 5 minutes or something insane like that. But Twitter's like 30 seconds you have of life and then your tweet's gone. So I definitely think reusing that, especially for like Pinterest, was something I even did over the holidays this last year. Is I had shot so many cute outfits the previous holiday, was not on Pinterest with it. I was not that type of great blogger yet. So I reused everything and was able to go repin a lot of my cute outfits that brought people into looking at a holiday look that totally made sense at that time frame. So reusing things when you start doing summer trips. I went to Europe last June and obviously having gotten I still have like 3 or 4 cities to do, but a lot of people go there in June and July and August because prices are cheaper. It's summer vacation. So I'm going to start to repost that and reutilize all of that content as we start to get into the springtime, because that's when people are going to be planning their trips to Europe. So when I was posting in October and November for some of them, they might, oh, that's great. You went to Cinque Terre. Sounds lovely. I'm really jealous of your life. Instead of using it as like a TripAdvisor type thing where now if they plan a trip to Rome or Florence, I can be the person that's actually influencing where they go. I mean, I ate the best pizza, people, the best wine. Like, you want to listen to that. So if you have someone that knows that as an influencer, you can definitely reutilize a lot of your information. You have to realize it's not a negative thing just because you're not putting new things out. You're really just using the great content you have already put out there, updating it. And then to Kara's point, what she taught me today is with the SEO of Google, if you're actually obviously re-pushing people there, it's only going to boost your SEO, because I had like my happiness post is a mindset, had great traffic. It was one of my highest ones, and it was actually one of the reasons I kept positivity on my blog, because that's what I realized people could connect to, and they really liked to read, and it was relevant to their life. So I already have a great following on there and had a great hit rate on there. So then to boost that again by sending a ton of my new followers there that hadn't even seen that before, updating it, making it more of like who I am and what my brand is today, adding the fun graphics to it, updating some of the images. I don't know if I'll go that far because I actually liked some of the images. The lighting was really good for how I've edited my photos now. But looking now, when she had said that, I definitely think I would probably update some of the images or editing on at least some of the posts that I'll look back on. So we're using this because, life happens, and as many people, I know there's a ton of full-time bloggers that put out, 4 and 5 posts a week, and that's amazing. And that's definitely a goal for me, and I think a goal for Kara as well. But I still am working, doing things. We're running our blogs, we're running My Hope Society, and Kara has a daughter. I have a husband, Kara has a husband too, but we're just all over the place with family. Kirby and I are constantly traveling. So life happens, and you need to understand that instead of being hard on yourself or putting out content that isn't so great just because you want to get that post out there because you're stressed about it, and then you're going to be disappointed in the post in the end because it wasn't great. utilize one of the posts that you absolutely loved, utilize one of the things that you had a great hit rate on, and then just boost it again. So overall, it makes your life a lot easier. It's fun to relook at things, like rereading this post was insane. And now to be able to update my followers on that, the year 2017 started out as a rocky road, but ended with creating My Haute Society with my blogger bestie, switching over my entire website. Like, there was so much good that came out of it. So now to be able to update my followers on that, I think will be something that people will be able to again resonate with and realize that years have ups and downs through it all, but if you can look back at a year and see any of the positive that came from the negative, that's a huge portion of what keeps the blogging world go round. So I just wanted to at least give you guys that little tidbit of how I'm making it work on something that's actually going to be published tonight on Everyday Chiffon, so you guys can see it in real live action, and then hopefully you guys can find some of the posts that did the best on your rating. Definitely look at some of your data, like Kara said, kind of go through some of the posts and see, what had your highest hit rates and what people commented on most, or what pictures on Instagram people really started to be like, I love that post idea, and really go back to that post and update it and reuse it, because clearly it was amazing and you don't need to rewrite an entire thing, reshoot an entire outfit or look just to put something out there. So just trying to make your guys' life easier, because that's all Kara and I are about as well. So